I came to Kathmandu at the age of 8. तर त्यतिखेरसम्म हामी दाउरामै खाना पकाउँथ्यौँ. धुवा हुन्थ्यो. We are selling this dream of solving a problem. We are selling this dream of starting up. But entrepreneurship and success never happens until you can scale up. म जतिखेर टेलिकममा काम गर्थेँ 2003 मा when we began working on CDMA technology, I would have never imagined that you could touch a phone. I think I took work as art. Right. Where every piece of work that you do should be your expression. You just want to do it better. Picasso later, every child is a born artist. The problem is to remain an artist. We see a kid, a child does not have innovation in dancing anywhere. But as we grow, we are inhibited by the society because we condition them, we educate them out of creativity, not into creativity, but out of creativity.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Mero2Paisa. मैले पडकास्ट गर्छु भनेर सुरु गरेदेखि नै मैले जति मेरो सोशल मिडियामा एंगेजमेन्टमा मैले कसलाई बोलाउँ भनेर सोध्दाखेरि सबसे धेरै रिक्वेस्ट आउने मान्छे आज मेरो अगाडि हुनुहुन्छ. प्लस Mero2Paisaको आज 60th एपिसोड हो र यो भन्दाखेरि मलाई खुसी पनि लागिरहेको छ. It is been an uphill battle just to get this thing continuously going. र आज हामीसँग लाइभ अडियन्स पनि छ. सो आजको एकदम स्पेशल एपिसोडमा सबैलाई स्वागत छ Mero2Paisaमा. र आजको मेरो गेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ Tootle Co-founder Sixit Bhatta. Sixit bro, welcome to Mero2Paisa.
Thanks, Aashish.
Finally we see each other.
Yeah, finally.
Tootle एउटा जुन वेभ आयो, a lot of people know I'm also one of the early adopters. आज म Tootleमै आएको यहाँसम्म. People really gravitated to the idea and they adopted this. र सायद जब तपाईहरुले केही प्रब्लम्सहरु पनि सेटब्याक फेस गर्नुभयो लास्ट इयर, जुन एउटा पब्लिक सपोर्ट पनि आयो त्यसको लागि चाहिँ म चाहिँ कसरी देख्छु त्यसलाई भने I think seeing Tootle not move forward or seeing it go down would resonate with people like me saying that म पनि सक्सेसफुल हुन्न जस्तो कुरामा चाहिँ मैले रिलेट गरिरहेको थिएँ. That's why everybody was talking about Tootle at a point. तपाईको यो गएको 2019 कसरी बित्यो, यो सेटब्याक्सहरुसँग कसरी तपाईले डिल गर्नुभयो र अहिले रिसेन्टली केही राम्रो गुड न्यूजहरु पनि आएको छ. सो मुभिङ फरवर्ड हाउ डु यु सी 2020 ह्यापनिङ फर यु?
Thanks for inviting. Thanks for coming, all the people here. 2019 has been interesting, but that was not something that we had never imagined it would happen. So it was very obvious in terms of what happened. So I think if you are an entrepreneur, these setbacks are the part of your daily life. Because we were working on an area where no clear policies were there. And that is how entrepreneurship should be anywhere. I mean, when someone created internet, there was no policies around regulating internet. When Ford came up with the car, there was no policies around driving license and things like that. So if there is a policy and you're doing something around the policy, then you're not an entrepreneur. Right. So in the absence of policies, I think it was very natural. And therefore the challenges were real in 2019. But that is how it is. And if you were to ask me what 2020 would be like, I mean, it would have some different set of challenges, right? That is what...
not as public as this one was.
Yeah, but I mean, think about this. Like, if you're talking about, say, people like Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or any other entrepreneur, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, because we know what's happening around their lives. The kind of challenges that they are facing right now, having to face the Congress on data security, on their board and investments, and they're much bigger than what we are facing, right? So, entrepreneurship, you have to take it from two perspectives. One is the growth perspective. But most of the people fail to understand that while you're going through the growth, you're also facing the growth in challenges. So it's a sword that cuts both ways. So I think it's very natural, and yes, we have had certain respite from the Honorable Court. So let's see how it goes.
Okay. came here, I looked at a lot of the videos we find of you online. You've mentioned something as in entrepreneurship being something that you use to express yourself. That's the term you've coined. I can so relate to that because I think expressing myself is more important than the rest of the things that happen around entrepreneurship. There is something that I feel connection with the product that I'm connected to, coffee sanga. त्यहाँ मलाई केही expression गर्न मन थियो. Can you elaborate a little bit on this? Like how you've mentioned entrepreneurship as being something as art. मेरो हेर्ने दृष्टिकोण नि त्यस्तै छ. यसमा अलिकति चाहिँ इलाबोरेट गर्नुपर्दा कसरी यसलाई चाहिँ
elaborate गर्न त्यो किन भयो भने when most of the people would come to me and they would ask me, okay, why did you become an entrepreneur? Did you always want to become an entrepreneur? And when I go back 20 years, when I started my career back in 2003 as a telecom engineer, back in those days when I was going to school, colleges, no one actually knew what entrepreneurship was. Right? Most of the people, as an engineer, I just wanted a decent job, which I had. After that, I did my MBA, and it was a wave where everyone wanted to become a banker.
Yes.
So I jumped into becoming a banker. Then one fine day, I quit the job and just set free. So then Tootle happened after a few years after I quit my job, and most of the people after Tootle started asking me, why did you become an entrepreneur? And when I were to look back into those years, there was nothing substantial that I thought, okay, I really wanted to become an entrepreneur or a businessman or things like that. But I think in the due course of time, as someone who was employed by others, both in telecom and banking, I think I took work as art, right? Where every piece of work that you do should be your expression. You just want to do it better. So for me, I felt that I never became an entrepreneur to solve a certain problem. While I could go back and brag about it, say that, okay, there was a transportation problem, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I thought, the real reason why I became an entrepreneur was just to express myself, which I was not able to do when I was taking up jobs with others, right? And that has certain things that possibly allows you to stick around, right? Because if you look at people who are doing business people who are into investments and those things, they think based on returns. Whatever you invest, what's the return? And if the returns are bad, if you're going through certain challenges, then it's very likely that they lose out. It's very likely that they opt out of certain things. But when you think of entrepreneurship as an art, there is no question of opting out. I'll tell you why. I mean, if you're playing,
the picture is complete.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're playing guitar, which is your art, there's nothing as a perfect note, right? There's nothing as a perfect music, because you'd always want to improve your notes, playing skills. If you're painting, there is nothing as a perfect painting. I mean, arguably, Mona Lisa would be the most valuable painting as on date. But do you know, Leonardo da Vinci spent 16 years with that painting, improving it every day till the day he died. Now, if Leonardo da Vinci were to be born again, I think he surely would like to improve that.
If he was just business-minded, he would have sold maybe the 5th version
Absolutely.
Never pursued the perfection.
Yeah, so I think entrepreneurship and the product that you carry, the product that you create, the service that you render to people, if you treat it as your expression, it becomes a beautiful piece of art. And I think we need to have that feeling about whatever you do.
Another thing I want to connect here is another parallel between us, or common thing between us, is we started off late. In context of you worked in the corporate sector as a telecom engineer. I started off after almost 10 years of being away from home, coming back home, and I came back with very little knowledge of how to actually run a business. I worked in a lot of businesses, but how has it been challenging? I guess family पनि start भइसकेको थियो. You have a son, हैन, बिहा भइसकेको, जागिर छोडेर म एन्टरप्रेन्योरशिपमा लाग्छु भन्दा परिवारको कस्तो प्रतिक्रिया थियो अथवा how are you going to earn bread? त्यो एउटा big question पनि थियो होला. But like you said, if motivation त्यो drive आफ्नो केही एउटा कृति बनाउने एउटा कलाकारले जस्तो थियो भने चाहिँ as an entrepreneur I can understand that, but how do you tell the rest of the world that this is something I'm very passionate about and I want to pursue it and maybe quit my good paying job and good salary? How was that challenge for you?
I mean, yes, we both started late, right? You just told me you're still 2 years younger to me.
I wanted to solidify that.
Yeah, so I think I'm the oldest in the house. But if you look at the kind of narrative that goes around entrepreneurship, you would see that everyone that's working around entrepreneurship, they're talking about young people trying to change things. Impact, entrepreneurship, solve a problem.
A lot of jargons.
And I see a lot of youngsters being derailed. So, why people are being derailed is because you're trying to sell these youngsters a dream that by being an entrepreneur, you're going to be the next billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg became at the age of 22, 23. Right? Which I think, unfortunately, it's not going to happen now because those were different days. It was the app economy that was growing. We just moved from internet based on the desktops to laptops to mobile phones. That led to that huge transition and upheaval that happened back in those days, right? So I think I was really fortunate to start it pretty late because I feel that the experience that we had when I was working for other companies helped me. There are a few things around entrepreneurship that people need to think about, right? We are selling this dream of solving a problem. We are selling this dream of starting up. But entrepreneurship and success never happens until you can scale up. For example, I'll give you this narrative of you opening 4 or 5 restaurants, and I believe that it was extremely challenging, right? But if I were to ask like few restaurant owners, how many of you can make momos better than Red Mart? Or how many of you can bake burgers better than McDonald's? 9 out of 10 people would say that I can actually make burgers better than McDonald's. Because a burger like McDonald's is not that difficult to make, and it's not the most it's not the tastiest burger in the world as well. But making a burger and creating a McDonald's are two different things.
True.
Right? That is where the scale comes in. So the challenge that we have around the concept of young entrepreneur versus the old people like us is that we are selling youngsters with a dream of solving this problem, and we're glorifying these dreams, right? But what they need to focus on is moving from startup to scale up. So when you start something, when you started, didn't you think of when you started your Red Mart? Didn't you think of opening 5, 6, 10?
Eventually, yes.
Yes, right. So, but if you were into this mentality of just startup, you would have wound up with one Red Mart that did revenues and your life was settled.
एउटा कोही नै गरेको छ यहाँ साउजी सिन्ड्रोम भन्छ.
साउजी सिन्ड्रोम.
हामी साउजी भन्थ्यो बस्थ्यो.
हैन. अनि हाम्रो समाजमा अलिकति च्यालेन्ज के छ त भन्दाखेरि यो entrepreneurship इनोभेसनलाई लिएर we tend to over glorify smaller things. For example, पुल्चोक कलेजमा एउटाले उड्ने प्लेन बनायो भने चाहिँ it would appear in कान्तिपुरको न्युजपेपर भोलि.
Too quick
हैन. तर पुल्चोकमा उड्ने प्लेन बनाउनु भनेको that plane was built in 1903 by Wright brothers. We are already 120 years late. Right? So making a plane today is not about Wright brothers le बनाउने plane, but people would still fly. So what are the things that we need to do? हामीले कस्तो चीज इनोभेसनमा हेर्नु पर्यो त भन्दा त्यो प्लेन कति 50% fuel efficient हुन्छ कि 100% safe हुन्छ कि, those things, right? So I think if you are aging, if you are into the other side of 30 now, 40,
enough experience also, real life
I think
experience.
you kind of enough experience to know and learn that whatever you know is very little to what you should have known. होइन एउटा डनिङ क्रोगर इफेक्ट भन्ने हुन्छ साइकोलोजीमा. The less people know, the more they think that they know. That's a psychological bias. So I think as you age and with experience, I think you tend to learn with your experiences. And if you look at most of the people who have done well on entrepreneurship, they're on the other side of 40s.
Yeah.
So I think we still have a chance.
True. As long as you don't lose the enthusiasm and the drive, I'm almost nearing 40 now, so I just feel I'm 38 with 18 years of experience or 19 years of experience. मेरो mentality अझ पनि त्यस्तै छ अगाडि. Like I love meeting young people, keeping myself in check with what's going on.
I think we're still young, so
yeah. Let's not categorize ourselves as old. We still got नेपाल सरकारले 35 माथिलाई चाहिँ 35 मुनिलाई मात्रै युवा भन्ने मैले त्यो पनि कहाँ पत्रिकामा पढेको थिएँ. So anyways, since we connected to that topic where मैले अहिले देख्छु कि एउटा मैले यो स्टार्ट गर्नु पछाडि पनि यसकै औचित्य यही थियो कि शिक्षितले भनेको जस्तै कि like I need to debunk this because a lot of these young people that are connecting to me have this wrong perception about entrepreneurship. हाम्रो role models क्रिएट हुँदै भर्खर बिस्तारै बन्दैछ. सो हामीले हेर्ने व्यक्तिहरू पनि नेपालको proximityमा धेरै छैन. So these kids are looking at this Insta post and like the examples that you gave, Zuckerberg, and those are really rare cases. We should also look at a plethora of people that have failed and disappeared, because of entrepreneurship itself. So त्यो चिजले चाहिँ एउटा फ्याड चाहिँ क्रिएट गरेको देखिन्छ. यहाँ अहिले मलाई आज यहाँ आउनु अगाडि पनि एउटा कुन कार्यक्रममा आइदिनु भनेर इमेल आइरहेको थियो. Every college is selling this. And it is not the easiest job in the world. Two CEOs sitting here, I think we can attest to the fact that we have sleepless nights. We have very difficult situations to deal with. Paisa leko cha kaseko, अथवा you're responsible for money. That's a big responsibility when you take on an investor. People को expectations छ. So यो सबै चीज बुझ्नलाई जरुरी छ र डिबङ्क गरौँ भनेरै हामीले मेरो 2 पैसा स्टार्ट गरेको. So as a CEO of a tech company नै भनौँ, a lot of the kids are interested in technology these days. सबैलाई केही एप बनाउनु छ. Like what advice would you give them? Like हामी जस्तै केही समय कुनै फिल्डमा करियर बनाऊ, केही समय प्र्याक्टिकल एक्सपिरियन्स ल्याऊ, मोर प्र्याग्मेटिक भएर एन्टरप्रेन्योरशिपमा आऊ भन्ने कि अहिले चाहिँ के चलन छ, कलेज एमबिए सकिन साथै केही सक्सेस स्टोरिज पनि होलान् तर कमै छन्. So what would be your advice to them, as in gaining some, like 9 to 5 लाई नराम्रो भन्ने पनि अहिले एउटा ट्रेन्ड आइरहेछ.
त्यो नराम्रो राम्रो हुँदैन नि. हाम्रो अलिकति समाजको प्रब्लम के छ भन्दाखेरि, I think with the youngsters, something that I really am not very satisfied with is that we spend very less time reading, learning things.
Only 3% of people watch the entire episode. Mero2Paisa ko pani only 3%.
We spend very less time reading things. We're fascinated with this fads. Your problem solved. Think about people like Bill Gates solving greatest problems. Elon Musk and all the entrepreneurs. The amount of research that these people do is not even crazy. I think spending more time learning and reading. I'll give you a few examples. Where our young entrepreneurs can do well in future in next 10 years. But you need to work really hard. Right? The biggest problem, let's say, the world is facing right now is climate change. So just imagine that we're talking to a few people who want to change this. Now, what is happening here around climate change is there's so many climate change activists that are taking public bus. Greta is sailing on the sail ship. People are going vegan and so on and so forth. So that's the kind of scenario, and there are a lot of climate change activists here. Now let's say someone wants to solve this climate change problem. Do you know the biggest problem around climate change right now is we're talking about decarbonization, but inherently human beings still we are a fossil fuel civilization. 85% of our energy comes from fossil fuel, right? Now think about this. Americans by far consume the most energy. It's around 300 gigajoule per capita per year. If you compare that to an African country or even Nepal for that matter, I don't have the data for Nepal, we'd be consuming 10 gigajoule. Right?
Not even a dent in the...
Not even a dent. So we consume very less. So, but what is the problem that we are facing right now? Is it about transforming everything into electric car? Is it going to solve that problem? Because even if you transfer everything into electric car, the steel that is made comes out of a certain furnace which would be using coal. Right? Because there's nothing called electric car. It's a car with electric motor. So if you're driving that electric car in India, it's basically a car that is running on a coal energy. You know?
True.
Right. Yeah. So now let's put this into perspective. What would young entrepreneurs do to solve this problem? Think about this. It's a big problem, right? I've given all the data. Europe consumes 150 gigajoule per year per capita. Nepal consumes 10. What are you going to do? It's very complex, right? You need to learn, you need to read, you need to understand the nuances. But you also need to understand the deeper details of climate change problem. For example, in last 50 to 60 years or even last 20, 30 years, I don't know how many years, the average weight of a car has increased from 1 ton to 2 ton. So if you're going down Manhattan and seeing a guy in a big truck, Hummer, that is nothing inspiring. There is nothing inspiring about that. You know? The amount of energy that is spent on heating and cooling. You know? So if we were to solve things like climate change, problems around that, we need to think around efficiency. How, rather than thinking big about transferring everything into electricity, how are we going to be efficient? Right? So a narrative that I can build around Tootle is by sharing rides, you are becoming more efficient. By having a car that is of a smaller size, you are becoming more efficient. Bholi पर्सि भनौँ न बुटोलमा in next 10 years, most of the people would migrate from the hills to Tarai. And these are the people who would need air conditioning. Right? Do we tell them not to use air conditioning, or as entrepreneurs, do we find a sustainable building solution with insulation in between that allows people to save energy? And just by saving these energies and becoming more efficient, what do? Is we solve these problems around entrepreneurship. तर त्यो गर्नलाई, I mean, are we having enough discourses, both in terms of technology? And it deals with a lot of
acumen side पनि होला.
कति चिज छ नि त त्यो गर्नलाई. I mean, I'm just giving you one problem which is solvable. I'm sure the entrepreneurs can do that. But how would, say, one of the people here do that? What do you need to do? What kind of books do you need to read? What kind of research you need to do? कति पढ्नु पर्यो? It's not like, I'll have an app and have food dropped from red mud to this place. No, I'm sorry. That's not how it's going to happen. Okay? So, say, climate change ma एउटा problem.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Arko is how you see your business. Just say, we're talking about food security problems of world bari, and world is going to run out of food. Which is true. Not because we are not producing enough food. I think we can still produce food more efficiently. It's because if most of the developed countries, they waste 75% of the food.
Very true.
From supply chain, from the place where you buy these packages to the time it is delivered, and there's a lot of waste. So tomorrow, if you're doing a food delivery business or tarkari delivery business from the farm to the fork, your business, the way you define your business, should not be from a perspective of I'm doing a food delivery or I'm doing a tarkari delivery. Your perspective should be, I'm trying to solve the food security problem. किन भन्दाखेरि यदि YouTube can recommend you the videos that you would like to watch, you should also be able to recommend on that app or technology as to what food Aashish or Sixit should be eating to consume less energy. But to do that, you need to get away from oilego food delivery business apps that are there, which are just talking about 1x, 10x, 3x, 4x returns. Right? You need to think beyond. That is where technology should come in. But again, you need to have a deeper understanding, a deeper research. So just going back to that question, I think I tried to elaborate it a little more. I think how deeper you go into understanding things. Mostly your psychological bias, illusion of knowledge. Most of the people think that they know more than they actually know. How does a helicopter fly? सबले सोध्छ मलाई आउँछ प्लेन कसरी उड्छ हेलिकप्टर कसरी उड्छ भन्छ ल भन न त हेलिकप्टरको त्यो रोटर ब्लेड चाहिँ केले बनाएको हुन्छ भने बिङ्गो यु डोन्ट नो त्योभन्दा अर्को डिटेल त्यसको त्यो उडेर हभरिङ जाँदा फिजिक्सको यु डोन्ट नो सो अहिले हाम्रो के छ प्रब्लम विथ अन्टरप्रेन्योरशिप इज वी ओन्ली हेभ अ भेरी सुपरफिसियल अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ होइन मलाई मोमो तिमीले मलाई सोध्यो भने चाहिँ होइन शिक्षित मोमो बनाउन आउँछ आउँछ भन्छु होइन ल भन न त मोमोमा एउटा उसमा कति ग्राम राख्नुपर्छ मैले सपोज तिमीले मलाई सोध्यो अरे सो यु आस्क मी ल शिक्षित मोमो बनाउन आउँछ सो रेट 8 आउट अफ 10 आज मोमो खान जानुपर्छ भाइ रेट योर सेल्फ कति 10 मा भनेपछि सो यु आज 8 रेट गर्छु होइन अब तिमीले मलाई भने ल यो किमा हो यो प्याज हो यसमा कति कति राख्नुपर्छ भनेपछि अब त मलाई थाहा छैन मोमो बनाउन त आउँछ मैले भन्छ हैन आई टोल्ड यु आई नो हाउ टु मेक कुक मोमोज अब त्यसमा ल मलाई त आएन आशिष ल देन यु आस्क मी कि ल यो मोमोमा हाउ मच वुड यु रेट योरसेल्फ नाउ भनेर आई विल रेट माइसेल्फ 6 है अब त्यसपछि तिमीले मलाई फेरि तिमीलाई त्यो आउँदैन ल मैले तिमीले हाल्दियो हैन ल यसलाई र्याप गर नि त पोको पार्दियो नि त भन्दाखेरि ठ्याक्क त्यो र्याप गर्न आएन अब चौबाट गरेर 4 भयो हैन अनि त्यसपछि अर्को चिज हो नि म 2 भयो अब त्यसपछि तिमीले के गरे त भन्दाखेरि आशिष वुड जस्ट मेक द्याट मोमो इन फ्रन्ट अफ मी यसरी बनाउनु पर्छ यसरी रहेछ ल अब भन त मोमो स्ट्यान्डर्ड यो हो सो हाउ मच डु यु थिंक यु न्यू हाउ मच यु नो अबाउट मेकिङ एउटा रियालिटीमा मोमोज भन्दाखेरि देन ए मलाई त 4 मात्र थाहा रहेछ है बेस्ड अन व्हाट यु डिस्प्ले सो द्याट डिफरेन्स बिट्विन व्हाट यु एक्चुअली नो टु व्हाट यु शुड हेभ नोन द्याट्स कल्ड द इल्युजन अफ नलेज के हाम्रो प्रत्येक यो entrepreneurship and most of the people face that illusion of knowledge है and we don't do anything about uncovering that is where research and development comes in that's where you need to do a lot of research अब त्यसपछि के भयो तिमी एउटा यङ भयो entrepreneur अब तिमीलाई आइडिया छ with all that illusion then some VC comes in
That's true. This you're describing my story. Right? Now keep going.
Chakkalara VC आउँछ त्यहाँनेर हैन
Let's open 200 stores.
200 stores. तिमीलाई लिएर जान्छ नेदरल्यान्ड कता घुमाएर लिएर जान्छ.
Exactly. Tell me.
Now what happens is if you are a young entrepreneur can succumb to that. किन उसले त के पनि देखाएको हुन्छ किन we are fascinated about things like investment आयो यता उता आयो
सपना देख्न थाल्छ
अनि यङ अन्टरप्रेन्योरलाई उसले के गरिदिन्छ त यो VCहरुले के गरिदिन्छ भने ल त चाहिँ CEO उसलाई CEO लेख्नेमा दङ्ग परिसक्यो हैन तर त्यो सबै काम चाहिँ उसले के गर्छ त आफूले गर्छ कि उसले आफ्नो चिफ फाइनान्स पनि आफ्नो राख्दिन्छ अर्को पनि आफ्नो राख्दिन्छ अर्को पनि आफ्नो राख्दिन्छ एन्ड दे बेसिकली टेक द्याट बिजनेस आउट अफ दिस अन्टरप्रेन्योर जो चाहिँ दङ्ग भएर 2-4 पैसा अलिकति स्यालेरी आउँछ हैन अनि त्यो फ्युचरको ड्रिममा चाहिँ 22-23 मा दिस गाइ इज दङ्ग अबाउट my life is set I have an investor so you have the VC who runs that business and you just become a ceremonial CEO हैन जसको कामले यता उता गरेर यसो मिडियामा अलिअलि फोटो खिच्ने यता उता and that's actually terrible because you kind of take away the dream and the vision that also happens because these young entrepreneurs have a very very fuzzy vision about the future तर तिमी हामीसँग आइसकेपछि के हुन्छ त भन्दा we people like you and me were difficult to contain with हामीलाई टेम गर्न अलिकति गाह्रो हुन्छ because
if it doesn't go my way I'm willing to like get out of it because it's something else drives us
absolutely so हाम्रो अहिलेको young entrepreneurs you need to think about all these things around this the fascination about capital and valuation $80 million company भयो हैन about this young entrepreneur who is chasing his dream and there's this funding and but there's a lot of cost the only way you can get out of that is to know a lot of things to learn and I kind of spend 2 hours every day reading and I don't just read around technology and all I'm reading so many other stuff different things and reading good books not like banana kuni reading good stuff reading a good book is also like watching a good movie you don't want to waste your time reading bad books, right? So I think these things are very important. You need to be up the task. You need to understand a lot of things. I think it's the same story.
Yeah, you actually described my story because I was among the first guys to get into a accelerator when I didn't even know what an accelerator did. I knew how to sell coffee, take care of my customers, and do what I did on a daily basis, which is go to Bulku, get tarkari, get the supplies. That part of entrepreneurship I had figured out. Maybe I would have just stuck to that one store and been a pretty little happy guy going around doing my thing, raising my family, that sort of a thing. But exactly, Sixitले भनेको जस्तै मलाई पनि त्यो ड्रिम देखाइयो, बोर्डमा मान्छेहरू आउनुभयो, big ambitions create भयो. Then from being that shopkeeper sort of a guy, Saudi sort of a guy, I had to learn to be a CEO. That was a difficult transition, automation, getting finances done, reporting done. This was a complete different ballgame. But Mero, at the end of the day, strength was my way I deal with my customers. And I put my slogan in my coffee shop as every revolution starts in a coffee shop. There was a philosophy behind it. त्यो बुझाउने गाह्रो. So मेरो अहिले चाहिँ अब just like Sixit described, yes, the economics of the restaurant business is there. It's doing well also त्यो हिसाबले, but that doesn't motivate me. It is something else that is motivating me. I wanted to create a social hub where people come and talk about new things, ambitions, and नेपालको बारेमा परिचर्चा र चर्चा होस् र मेरो क्याफेमा होस् भन्ने मेरो एउटा त्यो भिजन थियो. अब पछि यो VC यो फन्डहरू लिएपछि त्यो सेन्टरमा रहँदैन रहेछ. सो म क्वेसन चाहिँ अब कहाँ लगेर जोड्छु भने हामी नेपाली भएर जन्मिनुमा केही अभाग्य फिल हुन्छ कि हुँदैन, किनभने had I been doing this somewhere else, my cousin like मेरो US मा हुनुहुन्छ दाइ जसले चाहिँ he's done very well for himself through business and using these economic opportunities to leverage himself, move forward. त यहाँ भएको मिलियनर भइसक्थिस् भन्नुभयो. सो त्यो खट्छ हामी आफ्नो तरिकाले यहाँ काम गर्न खोज्दाखेरि एक क्यापिटलको एक्सेस पनि छैन, जहाँबाट छ त्यहाँबाट लिँदाखेरि यस्ता च्यालेन्जेसहरू आउँछन्. आफूले सोचेको जस्तो ग्रोथ पनि गर्न ठुलो मार्केट पनि छैन. सो आर वी डुइङ राइट थिङ बाई टेलिङ यङ किड्स टु हेभ दिस big entrepreneurial ambition and drive when in reality हामीले जो फेस गरिरहेछौँ वास्तविकता अलिक फरक छ. क्यापिटलकै कुराले, मार्केटकै कुराले र एक्सेसिबिलिटीकै कुराले भनौँ. How do you see this?
Yes, it's एकदमै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ क्वेसन. I'll just go back to हाम्रो
अघि नै कुरा
अघि नै भन्दा नि हाम्रो the way we are conditioned as Nepali youngsters. अब most of you would not be that way, but मेरो तिम्रो जेनेरेसन चाहिँ and then I'll connect to जस्तै मostly एकजना साथीसँग कन्भर्सेसन गरेर we're talking about हामी बाटोमा किन गाडी रोक्छौँ मैले तल रोकिरहेछौँ या यस्तो हुन्छ जाम गरिदिन्छौँ. we don't care about others नि. हाम्रो समाजमा एम्पथी भन्ने चिज एकदमै कम छ कि हैन. बच्चादेखि नै हामीलाई के गरियो त भन्दाखेरि we have been desensitized. हैन. I'll tell you few reasons. एउटा जस्तै हाम्रो बच्चाको ललबाइजहरू छ हैन. चिमुसी काटो मुसीको कान हैन. जस्तै इन्डियामा त्यही हो नि, डाल डाल पे चिडिया उड भन्छ हैन. कोही मान्छे ए बिचारा मरेछ है, गएछ है. I mean, if you hear someone dying or someone passing away, ए गएछ है, it's so casual. किन हामी बच्चादेखि डिसेन्सिटाइज भइरहेछौँ. एउटा त्यो डिसेन्सिटाइज अरू के भन्छ जस्तै दसैँको बेला बलि दिने. I mean, तिमी हामी बच्चा हुँदाखेरि I mean, we used to enjoy animals being sacrificed and we still do that अहिले पनि. भनेपछि हाम्रो त्यो सेन्सिटिभिटी चाहिँ हामीले लुज गर्यौँ कि एउटा उसमा हैन. हामीले त्यो लेभल अफ एम्पथी त्यसले के गर्यो त. अब त्यसपछि अर्को के भइदियो हाम्रो समस्या अर्को भन्दाखेरि बच्चामा रामायण महाभारतहरू आउँथ्यो हैन. अब थिङ्क अबाउट we are celebrating the fact that Hanuman burnt Swarna Lanka. अब त्यतिखेर त ओ डिमन रावणलाई उ गरेर, but I think it was pretty bad. Swarna Lanka, that was so well architected, even though it was a mythical thing, but it's really bad.
Ravan was considered an amazing king though.
Amazing
besides
king,
the other deeds that
Hanuman could have done so many other things. He could have just taken Sita back rather than burning the entire.
But he being a monkey did what a monkey does.
अब यो चिजले हाम्रो समाजले के गरिरहेछ त भन्दाखेरि हामी डिसेन्सिटाइज भइरहेछौँ. And that reflects on our policies. केही चिज भयो टुटलको या भनौँ न आशिषले केही चिज भनौँ एउटा रेस्टुरेन्टमा के भने ब्ल्याङ्केट ब्यान लङ्का जला जस्तै होइन अर्को हाम्रो पोलिसी कस्तो भने फेरि हनुमानमै आउँदाखेरि सञ्जीवनी बुटी ल्याऊ भनेर हेरेको छैन रामायण सबजनाले
मैले त हेरेको छु
होइन त्यो सञ्जीवनी बुटी ल्याऊ लक्ष्मण घाइते भएको बेला भन्दा उसले पुरै पर्वतै उठाएर ल्याउँछ होइन सो वेयर सम त्यो टाइपको डिसेन्सिटाइजेसन हाम्रो सोसाइटीमा छ एज वी ग्रु अप मैले भने नि बलि दिएको चिजलाई रिजोइस गर्ने आई थिङ्क द्याट रिफ्लेक्ट्स इन आवर सोसाइटी त्यसले गर्दा हाम्रो च्यालेन्जेसहरू आएको जस्तै 5 करोडको जुन अहिले इन्भेस्टमेन्टको थ्रेसहोल्ड नै भने नि त्यो पनि लङ्का जला जस्तै हो कि होइन यु नो कि तिम्रो looking into an investment opportunity on a restaurant is different to looking for an investment on hydropower.
Exactly.
तर के भयो त भन्दाखेरि
एउटै लेन्सले
हामी एउटै लेन्सले हेर्यौँ कि
एउटा व्यापारी फटा भयो भन्दैमा सबै व्यापारी फटा हुन्छ भन्ने एउटा ब्ल्याङ्केट छपाइदियो.
So in that context, I think it is very important that our kids and people, youngsters like you, are sensitized more. And let's get away from that desensitization that has happened through our upbringing. हामीले अलिकति समाजमा एम्पथी बिल्ड गर्नु पर्यो हैन. द रिजन वाइ आई आस्क्ड यु कि गाडी राख्ने ठाउँ छ कि छैन, आई डिडन्ट वान्ट टु इम्पिड द ट्राफिक हैन, सो दैट देयर वाज अ सोलुसन. सो हामी गाडी कसरी राख्छौँ, हामी हङ्क गर्छौँ गर्दैनौँ, हामी हाम्रो डेली लाइफलाई चाहिँ कसरी अपरेट गर्छौँ भन्ने चिजमा त्यो चाहिँ एउटा सोसाइटीले बिल्डअप गर्नुपर्ने चिज हो हैन. सो वाट वी वेन्ट इन थ्रु इन आवर जेनेरेसन वाज वी वर डिसेन्सिटाइज्ड. बट आई एम रियली होपफुल with the actions that youngsters are doing and majority of our population, 50% of our population still is below 24, they're more sensitive. And just say bhai bhainihharu yataतिर hununcha, I mean they think about things like climate change, they think about respecting other animals, we're talking about animal rights, we're talking about I know kukurlai yo garne. So there are things, that signals that are coming in which makes me believe that our younger generation who are there, they're more sensitive and they're better than our generation. Our kids' generation are definitely going to be better, right? त्यो चिज केले हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि the way we respect art, the way we respect freedom, the way we respect freedom of expression, the way we respect people of different color, caste, creed, or their sexual orientation. त्यसले गर्दा चाहिँ we build sensitivity into our society, which I think is happening. So coming back to your question, पहिलाको, would we have been better off in other places? Financially, yes. I know. But if you look at the history, and if you were to transport yourself into next 20 years with whatever we've done, or whatever we're trying to do, I think this is a time that in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of so many other things that the country is going through in terms of its own transition, I think we have an opportunity to make a greater impact.
True.
I think we have an opportunity to have a discourse that leads the society and the country to a certain direction. And therefore, I think this is most challenging.
True.
And I'm really excited about that. And I think I would be here
for the same reason.
For the same reason.
Yeah, I get it. हामीले के कन्टेक्चुअलाइज गर्नुपर्छ भने शिक्षित दाई 2003 मा करियरमा स्टार्ट भइसक्नु भएको थियो, म अमेरिका जाने तर्खरमा थिएँ. त्यतिखेरको नेपाल र अहिलेको नेपालमा अहिलेको परिस्थिति बुझेको मान्छेले यसमा नेगेटिभै देख्ला. मैले त त्यतिखेरकोसँग दाँच्दाखेरि त मैले त लिप्स एन्ड बाउन्ड्स देख्छु. हामी पुतली सडक निक्लिँदा ढुङ्गा मुढा भइरह हुन्थ्यो, मान्छेको मोबिलिटीदेखि लिएर सबै चिज. अर्थात् मेरो बुवाको बिजनेस फेल भएको देखेँ मैले मेरो आँखा अगाडि नै. त्यो समयसँग त्यो कालखण्डसँग अहिले कम्पेयर गर्ने हो भने त यो त अब बेटर भन्छु म.
हेर न, अब जस्तै अब मेरै एक्जाम्पल लिँदाखेरि आई वाज बोर्न इन 1980. तिमीले सोधेन, मैले भनिदिइहालेँ होइन. सो विच मिन्स my birthday is
coming soon.
Yeah, 24th of February.
All right.
Yeah, my claim to fame is actually I share my birthday with some great people, including Steve Jobs.
Yeah, okay, really, that's great.
And Phil Knight.
Yeah.
म जन्मिँदाखेरि I was born in a household. त्यो पनि सुदूरपश्चिमको एउटा घरभित्र होइन. It was a shed. अनि when I was I came to Kathmandu at the age of 8. त त्यतिखेरसम्म हामी दाउरामै खाना पकाउँथ्यौँ, धुवा हुन्थ्यो. दाउरामा खाना पकाएको सायद धेरै कम देखा होला यतातिर होइन खाना त मिठो हुन्छ तर एकदमै धुवा धुलो हुन्छ कि त्यो पिर्कामा बसेर खानुपर्छ त्यहाँ तर मेरो लाइफ टाइममा इन लास्ट 40 years we've moved from daura to micro oven दाउराबाट त्यो केरोसिन स्टोभदेखि लिएर ग्यास स्टोभदेखि लिएर होइन you've moved from यसलाई हान्स रजलिङले who is a famous statistician who recently passed away so he divides the world into 4 levels के अहिले हामी डेभलपिङ र अन्डरडेभलप्ड कन्ट्रिज भन्छौँ तर उसले चाहिँ 4 लेभलमा गर्छ लेभल 1 भनेको चाहिँ त्यस्तै दाउरामा पकाउने लेभल 4 भने माइक्रोवेभ ओभन भनेको लेभल 1 भनेको हिडेर पानी लिएर जाने लेभल 4 भनेको धारो खोज्दा तातो पानी आउने हैन लेभल 1 भनेको हिडेर मुभ गर्ने लेभल 4 भने आफ्नै गाडी सो इफ आई वर टु लुक इन्टु एभ्रिथिङ द्याट इज ह्यापन्ड म जन्मिँदाखेरि आई वाज बोर्न इन अ लेभल 1 धारामा पानी उतातिर गएर त्यो ढुङ्गे धारामा गएर पानी लिएर जानु पर्थ्यो मेरो ममले मेरो घरमा हिड्नु पर्थ्यो कतै जानलाई हैन थर्ड दाउरामा खाना पकाउनु पर्थ्यो हस्पिटलहरु त्यो थिएन बट माई सन when he was born into level 4 हैन so we've made like these four transitions and if you were to also transport yourself back into your father's time when you were born or your parents were born you'd see that you've also transitioned which is a very important sign of progress that we've made
1 2 3 4 5 6 7
मैले यहाँ एउटा एक्जाम्पल चाहिँ के दिएको छु भने म काठमाडौँ स्कुलमा ओरोदोरो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले एउटा प्रस्परस घरको कन्टेक्स्ट बुझ्नलाई चाहिँ जुन घरको छतमा डिस एन्टिना हुन्थ्यो त्यो टाइममा दूरदर्शन क्याच गर्न सक्ने स्याटेलाइट टेलिभिजन हेरिरहेको त्यो घरलाई हामीले एउटा प्रस्परस घरको संज्ञा दिन्थ्यो
फोन हुने
एक्ज्याक्टली ल्यान्डलाइन फोन
ल्यान्डलाइन फोन
एउटा छिमेकमा एउटा फोन
सो
अब त्यो चित्र देखेको मान्छेले आज देख्दाखेरि त हरेक मान्छेको घरमा एउटा फ्ल्याट स्क्रिन टिभी आइसक्यो अफोर्डेबल पनि भइसक्यो पार्ट अफ द डेली लाइफस्टाइल भइसक्यो त्यो ट्रेजेक्ट्री हेऱ्यो भने आई थिङ्क हाम्रो नरेटिभ जुन छ वरिपरि हाम्रो पत्रपत्रिका यसले एउटा सिङ्गल एउटा त्यो उसमै बसेर चाहिँ हामीलाई खालि नराम्रो देखाइदिएको कारणले चाहिँ त्यो कन्सेन्सस चाहिँ दिमागको त्यही भइसक्यो
त्यही चिजले जोड्दाखेरि
हामी कहीँ गएको छैनौँ
तिमीलाई जस्तै हाम्रो लागि एन्टरटेनमेन्ट युज टु बी अ कमन फ्यामिली अफेयर के
जुन रामायण
हामी सबै बसेर हेर्थ्यौँ नि त होइन एउटा ठुलो टिभी हुन्थ्यो अनि सबैजना अहिले एन्टरटेनमेन्ट कस्तो डिमटेरियलाइज भएको छैन एभ्री वान हेज द ओन एन्टरटेनमेन्ट अन युट्युब सो पहिला द्याट अल्सो मेन्ट द्याट as a society, as a family, we were more forthcoming in respecting each other's requirements. Only त्यो छैन we are more insensitive in terms of encroaching into we've become more from a collective to an individual culture किन हाम्रो entertainment individualized छ हाम्रो food individualized छ तर त्यतिखेर त सबै बसेर हामी हेर्थ्यौँ नि त कसैलाई के हेर्न मन लाग्थ्यो कसै तर सबै बसेर we used to have a sharing हैन अब स्पोर्ट्स हेर्न त हामी जिलेट वर्ल्ड स्पोर्ट्स स्पेशल आउँथ्यो तिमीलाई याद छैन
फर्स्ट ब्रान्ड थियो स्पोर्ट्स टिभी स्पोन्सर गर्दै
त्यतिखेर आउँथ्यो मैले भन्न खोजेको के त भन्दाखेरि तिमी र म वी आर डिजिटल इमिग्रेन्ट्स we emigrated into a digital platform and we've seen from 1980s to earlier summer we've seen every transition happen but most of the people here are digital natives
they've seen this since they were born and
social so I think there is a perspective gap so if you look at the way the world has changed in so many ways for last 30-20 years म जतिखेर टेलिकममा काम गर्थेँ 2003 मा when we began working on CDMA technology I would have never imagined that you could touch a phone
मेरो यत्रो थियो है 500 रुपैयाँको फर्स्ट प्रिपेड आएको थियो एनटीसी को त्यो पनि देखाउनलाई मात्रै
एसएमएस पनि थिएन नि
बजिहाल्यो भने मसँग मोबाइल छ है
एसएमएस पनि थिएन एसएमएस पनि पछि धेरै पछि आएको नि त हैन अब think did we ever imagine that in next 10 years the world would have changed so much right I work in a telecom industry I never imagined that but think about त्यही चीजले गर्दा next 5 years मा कस्तो चेन्ज होला त so
what Sixit has said is मलाई कतिमा भाइले यहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ I do it like using social media because I think मेरो पर्सपेक्टिभै त्यसलाई हेर्ने अहिलेको जेनरल यंगस्टर्सले हेर्ने भन्दा अलिक डिफ्रेन्ट तरिकाले छ म मार्केटिङको पनि विद्यार्थी हो डिग्रीजहरू नलिए पनि म मार्केटिङ बुझ्छु एउटा टुल हो यसलाई कसरी प्रयोग गर्न सकिन्छ र हामीले त त्यो डायलअपदेखि त्यो मैले फर्स्ट टाइम इन्टरनेट युज गर्दाखेरि मर्केन्टाइलको बिल्डिङ मुनि गएर 8 रुपैयाँ पर मिनेट एन्ड माई फर्स्ट इन्टरनेट सर्च वाज जिमी ह्यान्ड्रिक्स मलाई के सर्च गर्ने आएन एउटाले याहु खोलिदियो ल जे सर्च गरे नि आउँछ टाइप गर भन्यो सो मैले त्यो जर्नी त देखेँ आज मेरो बाबुले 5 वर्षको छोराले उसले गुगल सर्च युज गर्छ सो आई थिङ्क द्याट लिप्स एन्ड बााउन्ड एज कम तर त्यसको हामीले प्रपर युज गर्न नसकेर देख्छु मैले यङ्स्टर्सहरूले कि यु क्यान युटिलाइज दिस टु सेल प्रडक्ट्स मार्केट युर सेल्फ टेल स्टोरिज दिस म कसरी हेर्छु म म्युजिकमा पनि इङ्गेज भएको मान्छे मसँग यो टेक्नोलोजी मसँग 99 मा भएको भए मैले के गर्थेँ होला किनभने म एउटा साउन्ड कार्ड साथीको बरो गरेर लिएर गएर मैले एउटा 6 ट्र्याकको डेमो टेप बनाएको थिएँ जमानामा सिडीमा हालेर हामीसँग केही पनि थिएन र त हामीले केही तरिकाले त्यसलाई युज कसरी गर्ने नयाँ आएको टेक्नोलोजी भनेर हेर्छौँ आज यस्तो ग्रान्टेड छ यो चिज कि somebody wants to create music एउटा फोनको प्रोसेसर इज गुड इनफ टु ह्यान्डल द रेकर्डिङ अफ तपाईँसँग गिटार छ तपाईँसँग गीत गाउने क्षमता छ भने अन गर्नुहोस् रेकर्ड गर्नुहोस् गीत पब्लिस गर्न सकिन्छ त्यही चिज 20 वर्ष अगाडि हेर्दा इट वाज अ कम्प्लिटली डिफरेन्ट एस्पेक्ट म अब टुवर्ड्स द एन्डतिर अलिअलि लिएर जान्छु म आज टुटलै चढेर आएँ अलिकति ब्याक टु टुटल लिएर जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ र म आई थिङ्क वान अफ द अर्ली अडप्टर्स पनि हो मलाई इमिडिएटली आई वाज लाइक आई वान्ट टु सी हाउ मेरो फर्स्ट इम्प्रेसन वाज द एप वाज फ्ललेस देयर वाज नो इस्यू विथ द
We're coming up with a new very cool update.
Okay.
It's an entire new platform.
Looking forward to that.
Next 15 days we should be up and running and it's
awesome. र ग्रीन सिग्नल पनि दिएको हुनाले चाहिँ आज फेरि केही समयपछि टुटल युज गर्दाखेरि खुसी पनि लाग्यो मलाई र म हरेकचोटि टुटल चढ्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो टुटल प्रोभाइडर राइडरसँग म कुरा गर्छु मेरो नेचर पनि छ मलाई को यो मान्छे कहाँको हो के हो मलाई सोध्न मन लाग्छ र उसले किन गरिरहेछ वाइ दे आर डुइङ दिस भन्ने विषय र मैले पाएको फिडब्याक मैले लेट्स से 10 टुटल राइड्स ल्याएको छु भने 6 have told me that they are happy doing what they are doing. How do you see the impact side of this, which is नेपालबाट झन्डै 60 लाख युवा बाहिर छ भन्छ म आफू 8-10 वर्ष बिकज यु सेड यु नो एन्टरप्रेन्योर र बिजनेसको त्यो फरक मैले अरू भिडियोहरूमा हेरेको छु जुन चाहिँ आई थिङ्क त्यो ड्राइभिङ फ्याक्टर त्यो हो कि जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई किनभने मलाई पनि जब्स क्रिएट गर्ने कुराले चाहिँ एकदम मोटिभेट गर्छ र मैले देखेँ बाहिर नेपालीको हालत देखेँ कति सानो सानो कुरा र थोरै निम्न पैसाको लागि मान्छे कस्तो कस्तो काम गरेर बसिरहेछ अस्ति भर्खर माइनिङ एक्सिडेन्टमा 6-7 मर्यो एभ्री डे 3टा बक्सा आउँछ भन्छ while I was pitching my business I put a picture of a dead body. They wanted to know what impact I have and I put a picture. Some said it was very morbid and but I wanted to make a point कि एटलिस्ट त्यो त गर्नु पर्दैन नि उसले आज घरै बसेर आफ्नो घर परिवारसँग हामीले पहिला रामायण हेरेको टाइम जस्तै सँगै बसेर खाना खाएर टिभी हेरेर आफ्नो घर परिवारसँग के एउटा जीविकोपार्जन गर्न सक्छ त्यो जेन्युइन इम्प्याक्ट छ टुटलको मैले देखेको पनि छु यङ्स्टर्स मात्रै छैन आज मलाई पुर्याउने दाइ मभन्दा परिपक्व मान्छे हुनुहुन्थ्यो उहाँसँग कुरा गरेँ मैले सो लाइक इज दिस द वाइ बिहाइन्ड टुटल
I think when we started
one of the whys if not
it's one of the whys हैन सबभन्दा इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुरा के हो त भन्दाखेरि एन्टरप्रेन्योरशिपलाई अलिकति डिफरेन्ट वेमा डिफाइन गर्दाखेरि I think entrepreneurship is again the problem solving भन्ने चिज त साइन्टिस्टहरूले ल एउटा प्रब्लम उ गरे हैन त्यो entrepreneurship is also about changing behavior at scale जस्तै फेसबुकले के प्रब्लम सल्भ गर्यो versus फेसबुकले कुन चाहिँ बिहेभियर स्केलमा चेन्ज गर्यो the first question is difficult to answer. It doesn't easily come to your mind. But the second question comes easily into it. They change the way we communicate and socialize. So Google ko pani त्यही जतिखेर हामीले टुटल सुरु गर्यौं we had few issues because that behavior of giving and taking a ride on a motorcycle was not there. So when you do not have these behaviors then people question the newer behavior. Motorcycle चलाएर पनि कसैले इन्कम गर्ने because we didn't have dignity in work. हैन मान्छेहरुले यंगस्टर्सहरुलाई त्यो मोटरसाइकल चलाएर कसैलाई गरेर पैसा लिन लाज हुने कुराहरु and I think our pioneering work has made people understand there is a dignity in work and therefore most of the youngsters and old people are doing it यस्तो चीजहरुले यस्तो इकोनोमिक शेयरिङ इकोनोमीले एउटा सबभन्दा दिने अब सबैले आफ्नो डेली इन्कम दिने बाहिर विदेश जानु नपर्ने those things are there तर यसको सबभन्दा महत्त्वपूर्ण पाटो हामीले के सोच्नु पर्छ त भन्दाखेरि when you have an economy where you can get into a job and get out of the job टुटलको केसमा I mean we don't force them they're not our employees हैन they have the freedom यसले मान्छेहरुलाई चाहिँ इकोनोमिक शकबाट बचाउँछ so for example there was one guy who was
cushioning somewhere
one individual who was working full time somewhere but his wife was admitted to a hospital So what he did was he worked with Tootle to pay off those fees of hospital fees. त्यसले गर्दा के भयो त्यो इकोनोमिक सकबाट बचायो नि एउटा अनि हाम्रो जस्तो इकोनोमीको लागि त्यो किन इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि वी आर इकोनोमी वेयर many of the youngsters don't have job. The government does not provide healthcare and education. They don't, right? भनेपछि त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा to provide a platform where people can work and be resilient to economic shocks. And providing jobs at scale.
And we live in one of the most expensive cities.
Cities in the world. So I think that's deeply satisfying and humbling at one. So
केही पनि सप्लिमेन्ट्री इन्कम हुँदाखेरि त्यसले ओभरअल उसको फ्यामिली आफ्नो पर्सनल उसमा ग्रोथमा इम्प्याक्ट गरिहाल्छ वर्क कल्चरको कुरा गर्दाखेरि अघि हामीले म्याकडोनल्ड्सकै नाम लियौँ मेरो रेडमोन्डमा नि काम गर्ने भाइ बहिनीहरू धेरै बाहिरका जिल्लाबाट आएकाहरू जो चाहिँ काठमाडौँमा केही पढिरहेछन् केही आफ्नो फ्यामिलीलाई सपोर्ट गर्न खोजिरहेछन् मलाई त्यहाँ खुसी लाग्छ कि हामीले गरेको कामले र हामी कहाँ आउने कस्टमर्सले हामीलाई भन्दा त्यो 80 पिपलको पुल छ अहिले त्यसलाई इम्प्याक्ट गरिरहेको छ र वर्क कल्चरको कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ लड अफ द यङ्स्टर्स द्याट आई मिट एमबिए डिग्री लिइसक्यो तर अहिले एमबिए लिउन्जेलसम्म एउटा काहीँ काम गरेको अनुभव छैन उसँग अनि द्याट पर्सन हेज टु जम्प इन टु द रियल लाइफ एन्ड स्टार्ट फिगरिङ थिङ्स आउट तर बाहिर मैले देखेको कल्चर के छ 16 वर्षको उमेरमै समरमा भए पनि म्याकडोनल्ड्समा काम गरेको हुन्छ सो जुन डिग्निटी अफ वर्कको कुरा आयो पेचेक लिँदाखेरि त्यो $100 होस् या $200 पेचेक लिँदाखेरि द काइन्ड अफ फिलिङ यु गेट
अर्को एउटा चिज छ नि आशिष एउटा के छ भन्दाखेरि हामी एज अ कन्ट्री होइन वी भेरी पोर एट ब्रान्डिङ थिङ्स के So if you look at Tootle Co brand and all, we worked on the branding from day one. And our brand is very playful. It has that color from the name and everything. And there was a conscious effort placed into that. You know? About what is the learning for young people? I mean, it's to problem solving. We forget about branding. You know? I was in Sydney in September. You know? Look at what they've done. You know? Or anywhere else in the world. Sydney अब त्यो डार्लिङ हार्बर छ नि त्यो हार्बर ब्रिज होइन पुललाई पनि ब्रान्डिङ गरिदिएको छ कि छैन होइन त्यहाँ माथि अलिकति ब्लू माउन्टेन भन्ने ठाउँ छ 3 सिस्टर्स भनेर त्यो पनि ब्रान्डिङ गरिदिएको छ अब हाम्रो त यस्तो माउन्टेन त कच्छ नि होइन वी आर भेरी पुअर एट ब्रान्डिङ होइन अब ब्रान्डिङ कसरी गर्ने भन्ने क्वेसन आउला प्रश्न आउला ब्रान्ड्स आर क्रिएटेड आउट अफ स्टोरिज मिथ्स स्टोरिज ट्रु पनि होला ट्रु नपनि होला अब त्यो हार्बर ब्रिजको ब्रान्ड के त भने त्यहाँ कति मान्छेले कहाँबाट स्टिल ल्याएर यो बनायो कुन चाहिँ इयरमा बनायो के गर्यो कतिजना मान्छे यहाँबाट खसेर मर्यो व्हाटएभर इट इज हैन त्यो स्टोरी के त फोकलोर बिहाइन्ड द स्टोरी बिहाइन्ड ब्रुकलिन ब्रिज के हो त्यही हो हैन अब त्यो 3 सिस्टर्स त्यो ब्लू माउन्टेन भनेर त्यहाँ सिडनीमा छ त्यहाँ के हो त तीनटा छ यो डिपेस्ट यो माइनिङ गर्दाखेरि डिपेस्ट त्यो ट्रेन हो व्हाटएभर इट इज हैन एउटा त्यो कयामा ब्लो होल भन्ने छ त्यो पानी आउँछ त्यो संसार जहाँ क्लिफमा बट दे आर सो गुड एट ब्रान्डिङ स्टफ नेपालमा अनफर्चुनेटली नट आई विल गिभ एन एक्जाम्पल इफ यु आर इन्टु ट्राभल एन्ड टुर हैन अब एभरेस्ट बेस क्याम्प गयो अरे हैन इट्स द सेम ट्रेक वाट इज द ब्रान्ड हैन हिलरी स्टेप भनेर माउन्ट एभरेस्ट चढ्नमा तर त्यही एभरेस्ट बेस क्याम्प जाँदाखेरि हिलरी र तेन्जिङ कुनै ठाउँमा बसेर कफी खाएको होला चिया खाएको होला Now if you just put up a story कि day 1 मा Hillary and Tenzing spend this night having a coffee here यो ठाउँमा बसेको थियो यो होटलमा बसेको थियो यहाँबाट खाना लिएर आएको
journey is different
the journey is different isn't it you brand the entire trip
living that history
you live that history
त्यो हिसाबले गर्यो भने बनिपादेखि हिँड्दै जानु पर्यो
हैन so we don't brand because brands are created out of stories हैन जस्तै जनकपुरमा विवाह मण्डप भने म त गएको छैन हैन बट आई हर्ड कि त्यो जनकपुर जानकी मन्दिर people come to जानकी because this is the exact spot where Ram and Sita got married हैन no one actually knows that
हैन factual
छैन but there is a story and therefore there are tons of people that come तर सीतालाई रामले कुनै गार्डनमा भेटाए पनि थियो होला नि त्यो भन्दा अगाडि where is that garden छ त यो गार्डनमा सीताले पहिलो चोटी रामलाई देखेर मुस्कुराउनु भएको थियो it becomes a different brand isn't it हैन यहाँनेर सीताले रामलाई यो भन्न न प्रपोज गर्नु भएको थियो this is where the dhanushko यो fell हैन so I think in Nepal we are very poor at storytelling We don't share enough stories. Because brands are created out of stories. Right? So if you want to become an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurship ko हामी धेरै चाहिँ startup यो त्यस्तो fundamentals मा गयो, but you have to be a good storyteller as well. You have to create stories and myths around your brand.
If you look at my business case as well, what I did is nothing like out of the box or reinventing the wheel or anything. Just probably a little bit of my own personal touch, Mero team ko touch, and then the kind of communication that we put out there. That I'm connected to this product which is coffee, and I want to sell it to Nepali young kids. होइन हामी म यहाँ आउन साथै मैले के देखेँ माथि लमजुङमा तपाईको कफी उत्पादन हुन्छ पोखरामा लवाजा बेचिरहेछ अनि यो मैले I wanted to fix this.
And
coffee is right here.
You also connected that with your own personal story, you know. Redmond is so much about also Aashish US go, Aashish US बाट फर्क्यो, this guy
मलाई पेलेरै भयो भने भन्न लगाए
थियो. So that is also a story that you build around the brand.
True. I think people resonate to that, connect to that.
Absolutely.
Story. So maybe that's why they give us the amount of business we get. Not that the coffee the सबैले बेचिरहेछ, मोमो सबैले बेचिरहेछ. I think brand को पछाडी definitely त्यो हो. टुटुलसँग पनि connect गर्दा I guess it is
stories.
Your story is also that resonates. Even though सायद यो भन्दा अगाडि हामी M&S Tower मा एकचोटी लिफ्टमा भेटे हो अनि फिजिकली भेटा छैन, but I've always felt a connection with you. Seeing your struggle, it makes me feel like हुन्छ नि यो हुनुहुन्न, यसले चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्नुपर्छ, पार गर्नुपर्छ, टुटुल अगाडि बढ्नुपर्छ, किनभने somehow हामी सबैको एउटा एस्पिरेसन त्यसमा कनेक्टेड छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. सो अब म अगाडि एन्डतिर लिएर जान्छु, अलमोस्ट 1 घण्टा हुन लाग्यो. मेरो एन्डिङ क्वेसन यो हुन्छ भनेर मैले बिहानै सोचेको थिएँ. टुटल पब्लिक गएर मैले सेयर कहिले किन्न पाउने अथवा ट्रेजेक्ट्री गोइङ द्याट वे.
होपफुली विल डु द्याट. होइन जस्तै टुटल भने के हो त भन्दाखेरि अहिले हामीले आई थिङ्क यस्तो बिजनेस जुन हामीले अन्टरप्रेन्योर स्टार्टअप सुरु गऱ्यौँ होइन, आई स्टार्टेड टुटल एट वान पोइन्ट इन टाइम, बट इट बिलोङ्स टु पिपल. And the way it should grow and become bigger is only if we can translate that belongingness to most of the people. So yeah, of course, we hopefully would want to go public at one point in time, maybe go outside of Nepal. That त्यो गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि मेरो मनदेखिको इच्छा
के go public, don't get a VC.
go public at one point in time, grow, and how we can make our bikers our shareholders through public offering.
True.
Give
true ownership to
people. So maybe that's the dream, that's the hope. Let's see where it goes. But
I think it's happening, Sixit. I can afford a car, I can afford a ride, but I choose to take Tootle or if your alternative sometimes as per my needs. So I think त्यो mindset change हुँदैछ. म जस्तो मान्छे केही थोरै भए पनि छन् जसले चाहिँ I want to see homegrown brands really grow.
अर्को चीज के हो भन्दा I think we are past that stage where we should be aiming at 10x 20x growth in numbers. I think we need to get into more sustainable business practices, how you create more impact. The number, the VC game, 3x, 4x, 5x, let's not get fascinated. It's tiring. And it's a never-ending process. एउटा पैसा हाल्छ, अर्कोले निकाल्छ, अर्कोले हाल्छ, तेस्रोले निकाल्छ. I think just continue. Again, it
just takes all the energy out of you running the business, my experience, to focusing on this, which is not going to motivate you.
So, again, you need to come back to art.
That's what you enjoy. That's what you like.
When you treat yourself with entrepreneurship as an art, when you maybe painting, right, there's a love in every stroke that you make. You're never doing it in a hurry. And it's every painting stroke that you make. So when you're playing a guitar, and every stroke, there's an expression. If you म्युजिक कतिजनालाई थाहा छ त्यो हुन्छ नि म्युजिकको मैले नि अलिअलि पियानो बजाउँदैको नोट्सहरूमा एक्सप्रेसिभ हो भन्छ कि त्यो फ्रेन्च उसमा एक्सप्रेसिभ हो भन्ने बित्तिकै त्यो ट्याङ्ग बजाउने नि कि त्यो हात पनि कसरी त्यसमा फ्लोट हुनुपर्छ, वाट एक्सप्रेसन यहाँदेखि कनेक्टेड हुनुपर्छ कि. सो इट ट्रिट इट with expression, then it's hitting the right note. It's not like finishing the music pretty soon. So त्यतातिर अलि बढी ध्यान दिनुपर्छ.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming here, being here in this room with me. म टुटललाई धेरै शुभकामना दिन चाहन्छु.
धन्यवाद.
We keep moving forward. We are here to support you. I think our audience, everybody believes in this idea, and I think the public is behind what you're doing right now, and that's, I think, amazing.
Thanks.
Rob, I hope you liked this episode. So आजको टेकअवेमा अलिकति एउटा ऱ्यापअप गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यस बिजनेस इकोनोमिक्स हो तर if it's driven from your heart, from your passion, then it is, like Sixit says, an art. So enjoy that art, build upon it, chisel on it, sharpen your art and get better at it. भन्दै आजको मेरो 2 पैसाबाट चाहिँ म साइन अफ गर्छु. बाई बाई.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.